Welcome back to Up Close. It is a most staggering and disturbing statistic. The death toll from the opioid crisis. Nationwide, more than 47,000 overdose deaths from opioids in 2017. This past year likely to surpass that. 16 months ago, President Trump declared the opioid crisis a national emergency, and it is still that. The latest campaign, locally led by Nassau District Attorney Madeleine Singas and the New York Islanders, a new public service announcement about the dangers of opioids and heroin.
Hockey can hurt, but no amount of pain can compare to the heartbreak of losing a loved one to addiction. In 2016, 195 lives were lost due to drug overdoses in Nassau County. In 2017, that number was 184.
I'm Nassau County District Attorney Madeleine Singas. In hockey and with addiction, the more saves, the better our chances of winning. Let's stop the pain. Go to heroinprevention.com.
And District Attorney Singas joins us this morning. The more saves, the better the strategy, and hopefully that is your strategy by that PSA, right?
That is our strategy, and getting the word out there and letting people know that we're here, there are services, we can help you. You know, it's a very isolating addiction, and people need to know that there's help out there. They just have to reach out, and I'm so grateful to the Islanders, our iconic team, for joining with us in this message.
And it was appealing, I suspect, to young people. Was that the target audience?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, really, anyone who watches the games, but young people, you know, seeing their sports heroes on the air, saying, look, we're here for you. If you need help, reach out. Let's talk about it. Let's get you the help you need.
And yet the numbers, listen, the 184 people in 2017, the last year you kept track, you have the final figures, and it was higher the year before. It's not a huge drop, but it is a little bit of a drop.
It is a little bit of a drop, and it gives us, you know, a glimmer of hope. But of course, you know, one overdose is too many for us, one death. You know, everywhere I go, people are talking to me about a loved one, a son, a daughter, a partner, a parent who's affected by this. There's nowhere I go in the county, north, south, east, or west, that remains free from this. So for us, it's important to get out there, to educate. We're in schools talking to our kids about it. Treatment, you know, we've talked about this before. My office has poured thousands of dollars into a treatment center, New Hope, in Freeport, that has treated 2,000 people since we started funding them in 2016.
And it is very prevalent in the burbs. This is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah. In fact, a staggering statistic that just came out last night that I read said that the biggest jump in overdose deaths came from women, middle-aged women, which is a staggering statistic.
You wouldn't have thought that, right?
No, not at all.
But maybe it's not surprising.
Well,
right? I mean, the Rolling Stones wrote about it decades ago in Mother's Little Helper.
They did.
And so is that at play here? Who knows?
I mean, who knows? You know, I think society is over-medicated to an extent, but this isn't a problem that's isolated to some economic group or some age group. It is prevalent throughout the county. It is prevalent throughout all of these groups, so no one is immune from it, and I guess that's our message. We have to start talking about it. We have to give people the help that they need. You know, in our office, we're nonviolent, people who are just users. We're saying let's get treatment beds as opposed to prison cells. Let's make sure that people get the treatment that they need so that they can overcome this addiction.
And there is a movement, of course, to not just put people in prison across the country. Certainly in New York there is.
Absolutely, absolutely. And look, enforcement is always going to be a big part of it. Like our top-level drug dealers who are pushing this poison into our communities need to be apprehended and prosecuted. But we can't arrest our way out of this. We need treatment and we need education.
I know you're a big advocate of this, and I say this with all due respect. Can you really solve this problem unless you attack why it's happening?
I mean, look, I think it's multi-pronged. We have to look at why it's happening. We have to look at where the drugs are coming from. We have to look at what we can do to turn people's lives around. Is the treatment that people are getting quality treatment? Because is it enough to just say, go to this treatment place if it's not something that will actually help them kick that addiction? We're
talking about heroin. We're talking about oxycodone, prescription drugs.
Yeah.
We're talking about fentanyl. Synthetic drugs, right? That's the broad spectrum we're talking about.
Yeah, and fentanyl, you know, fentanyl was a game changer. Fentanyl caused many overdose deaths. So there's some legislation at play to enhance penalties for fentanyl more than anybody else, more than any other drug group. But again, the conversation needs to be had. The stigma needs to be taken away. People who need help need to reach out. Our website, heroinprevention.com, we get lots of hits on it. There's a wealth of information. We're in schools. We're trying to get into schools at the middle school level to talk to kids about what's going on, to talk to their parents about what to look for.
You become an advocate for this, for prevention and treatment.
Yes.
And yet you also are law enforcement, and you see what's happening with the legalization of marijuana across the country. Because for many governments who may have been against it 10 years ago, 5 years ago, it's cha-ching, even though there's some questions about that. But they think it's a revenue stream. Does that bother you?
Look, I mean, whether...
Decriminalization is different.
Yeah.
Legalization.
Look, my personal feelings on it really don't matter because we're heading there, right? We're getting there. And from a public safety standpoint, I just want to make sure that kids who are using marijuana or adults who are using marijuana are doing so safely, that they're not on our roadways high. You know, we have to look at the lessons of other states who have legalized. And if car crashes are going up in Colorado, then that's something that New York should take heed and try to prevent that. So again, you know, especially for younger people, legality and safety seem to go hand in hand. They think if something is legal, then it's safe to use at all times. And that's not true. So we have to decouple that and make sure that people use it when it becomes legal safely.
It's a tough path you're walking on, though.
It is.
Legalizing one drug and tracking down on another that is illegal and is going to remain illegal, I assume, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's not going anywhere. Well, you're on a bold campaign, and we wish you really good luck because our future depends on it.
Thank you.
Not just for young people, but as you said, middle-aged women are the biggest users in all this.
The biggest jump in overdoses.
Just tremendous. And we were talking earlier, this has lowered the average lifespan of Americans because young people are dying from this.
Yeah, isn't that unbelievable in America? So we're heading in the wrong direction.
Yep. All right. District Attorney Madeline Singas from Nassau County, good luck to you, and thank you for coming on Up Close again.
Thank you for talking to me about it.
Great to see you. When we come back, yes, the government's shut down, but that may not be the biggest problem facing the President of the United States. We're going to explain with our ABC News political director, Rick Klein. That's next.